Alright, to start off, I'm going to be using a lip scrub. I just used it to exfoliate my lips. I do that sometimes, usually when I'm about to use a matte color. This is the Fenty Beauty Primer, and I'm going to be using it as a base for the Fenty Beauty foundation that I'm going to be using. I don't like any other primer with it. Other primers, it still looks well, but it feels different when you use a different primer. You have to kind of like use the primer for that foundation. That's what I find. This is the Moda brush I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be using Fenty Beauty foundation in the color 420. So I'm just blending that in right here, just going in, applying, trying to blend it in. You know how that goes. So here I'm just cleaning up my eyebrows. Once again, nothing major. Clearly jamming. I don't remember what song I was listening to. I'm gonna go fill in my eyebrows with the L'Oreal Blackest Black in the color 171. I got it from a drugstore, I think like Rite Aid or something. I think it's a really good dupe for Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow. If you don't want to spend $18 on an eyebrow gel, you can use this. I don't even remember how much it costs, but it's lasted me a long time. Like I've had this for like at least like 2 or 3 years. So it does its job. This is what I use for my eyebrows. So if you're on a budget, great dupe. I think you should use it. I highly recommend it. So I'm going to use this Tarte concealer. It's Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. I know Shape Tape is what's in now, but this is what I've been using before Shape Tape. I'm going to clean up my eyebrows with it, and I'm also going to use it as a base for the eyeshadow that I'm going to be using later on. So that's what I'm going to use. I use this also like for contouring, but I'm not going to be doing that in this video today. And then I'm just gonna blend all that out with my beauty blender I should say. And I'm gonna be using this palette by Juvia's Place. I think it's the Masquerade palette, I forget. And I was just struggling to pick a color. I didn't know what color I wanted to use as my transition state, but I ended up using the color Zulu in the palette. And it's kind of like a reddish brown. Usually your transition color is a brownish color, usually, not always, but usually. And I chose to do a reddish brown. Not sure why, I just decided to do that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, applying that to the lid before I apply my real like eyeshadow. So here I'm going to be using the Pro Conceal by LA Girl. I changed my mind. I decided to use this as my base for my eyeshadow as opposed to the Tarte concealer, just because I feel like this one kind of takes on the color a little better and it's a little thicker, so I think it just works as a better base. But I used it in the color Warm Sand, so that's what I decided to use as my base. And also it's like cheaper, so I'm more willing to like waste this than my Tarte concealer. Like my Tarte concealer I usually use more so for really actually concealing like under my eye. But I'll use like the LA Girl to use as a base or things like that. Like I'll waste my Pro Conceal because it's not that expensive. Clearly here I'm getting wine drunk again. I don't know why I was off the wine so much today. I'm gonna take my Tartelette palette and I'm gonna use the black to do a smoky eye. It's very pigmented and it's sometimes hard to find a good like black, I find, but this black really applies well. Like as soon as you put it on your eye, it's going on your eye. You don't really need a base for it, but I just used a base just to make the color pop a little more. Take a blending brush here and just blend out the transition color with the smoky eye black that I use, just to make sure everything blends in really well. You don't want it to look sloppy, so that's what I'm doing. And I'm using my glitter injections as basically my main color. This is the color that stands out the most. Unfortunately, they don't put the name of the color on the packaging, like it's just a purple, but they have so many colors. And looking back, I realized that I didn't even really need a base for this. For the transition color and for the smoky eye, yes, a little bit, but this applies so well, you don't even really need you don't need a base for it. You can just put it right on your lid. So it's not the end of the world essentially if you don't use a base, because it's gonna go on. You don't need any type of glitter glue or anything like that. It goes on very well and it's going to stick out. You're not going to spend a lot of time trying to you know, apply and apply and apply. So that's a good thing about it. I really love glitter injections. The only thing I hate about glitter injections is the fact that you have to buy like the holder for it. Like it comes like in this little like kind of like cheap packaging, and you have to kind of buy their magnetic palette in order to put your little like circle colored pressed glitter thing on it. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but but essentially it just comes in a little circle and it's not gonna come in anything special, and because of that it gets a little messy, but it applies so well that it doesn't even bother me too much. I just kind of wish it had nicer packaging. That's just me. So now I'm gonna blend my sparkly glitter injections eyeshadow with this color called Calabar in the Masquerade palette, going back to the Juvia's Place palette. I'm just using that to kind of make it look a little neat. I'm gonna take my Tarte concealer for my under eye concealer, like I said I would before, as opposed to using it as my base. So I'm just going in and then I'm gonna take my beauty blender and blend it all out. Now I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. It's the cream contour palette, and I'm going to take my Real Techniques contour brush and just contour my cheeks and my nose. And then after that, I am going to take my Sasha Buttercup setting powder, and I'm just going to work around my contour here to kind of give it a more defined look. It makes the contour pop out more as opposed to just doing the contour alone. now I'm going to apply my lashes. These are the Ardell faux mink lashes. I'm going to take my eyelash curler and just kind of curl the lash to make it look a little more natural. And then I'm going to take the Ardell glue. I believe it's black. It is black. It's lash grip, and I'm going to apply it to the eyelash. Before I applied it, I didn't want the video to be too long, but I just applied the glue and I bent the lash a little bit, and I like kind of blew on it to kind of make it tacky before I put it on. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm applying the lash, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I use my hands, and as you will see in a couple seconds, I'm going to explain that you can use like a lash applicator if you'd like. It just depends on what you like and what is easier for you. I use my hands. That's just me. These two, I just use my hands. It's just me. Like, you just take the lash and you put it on. I don't do that. So here comes the infamous baking. I'm going to bake with my Sacha Buttercup setting powder. This is like my favorite part of applying makeup. I think this is like one of the most critical parts to me when it comes to applying makeup, just because of the fact that it really makes everything kind of pop. Like, it kind of defines everything in a way that it wouldn't if you didn't bake. So that's what I'm doing. The most critical thing about baking is blending, I find, because you don't want any flashback in your pictures. You don't want to look ashy, and you want to have the right color. I'm going to take my NYX pencil in the color black, and I'm just going to eyeline my bottom lash line here. I like to do this with any smoky eye. I think this is almost essential with a smoky eye. I think a smoky eye doesn't look like a smoky eye without doing like your bottom lash line. That's just me. I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics mascara. It's in Superhero. I'm going to apply this to my bottom lash. I got this from Ulta. It's a trial size for my birthday month. Don't use it on my top lash because I don't feel like it's that voluminous, so I use it on my bottom lash. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Trophy Wife highlighter on my cheekbones and my nose. Here's my Real Techniques setting brush. It's supposed to be a setting brush, but I used it as a highlighting brush here. So generally you would probably want to use it for the baking part, but I just used it as a highlighting brush here because I like the way it applies highlighter. And I haven't got my coins up yet to get the Rihanna brush, because that brush is so poppin', y'all. Like, I cannot wait to spend my coins on that. That is what I need my hands on next. Alright, so I'm gonna keep it simple with the lip. I'm just gonna use the Fenty Beauty lip gloss. I didn't feel like I wanted to use anything spectacular because I feel like my eyes were already doing a lot. So I feel like it would have been doing the most if I applied like a matte lip or like a lipstick. So I just decided to keep it simple with the lip gloss. I'm going to set my face with the Mario Badescu Rose Water. And this is the final look. I really like it. This was my actual birthday look, and I really love the way it turned out. I think it's kind of simple in a sense. It's not doing too much, but it still pops. So that's what I like about it. I hope you like it, and subscribe to my channel.